Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as "TIFU giving my 17-year-old nephew advice on how to meet women." This post received 44,597 upvotes. Posted by Mad Moran 1029. The post reads as follows. A few weeks ago I flew out to Fresno to visit my younger sister and her family since I haven't seen them in 4 years. The first night in town was wonderful and wholesome. They gave me a quick tour of the local sites and we ended up at a local restaurant for a family dinner. The conversation was mostly about family stuff and how the boys were doing in school. The older son, Alec, was enjoying thus far his senior year at HS and enjoyed a healthy social life, dating often. On the other hand is my nephew, Dan, who does very well academically but has zero game with the ladies. When I pressed him as to why, he admitted he had a hard time approaching them and mostly stuttered and blushed. Alec chimed in with the fact his brother seemed to fancy more robust girls, which sent the table laughing with the exception of my sister and Dan. Being the cool uncle, I let the matter drop until my sister excused herself to use the ladies' room. As she walked away, Elle leaned over and offered a bit of advice from my Marine Corps days. If he liked big, then he needed to go to a place where big is not judged. But don't go empty-handed. I suggested finding a clothing store that accommodates plus sizes and bring along some snacks as an icebreaker. Now that I think of it, I was about 4 cocktails into the evening and the snickering coming from my brother-in-law and nephew should have been an omen of sorts. So the topic dropped after Sis returned, and that was pretty much my first evening. A few days later it occurred to all of us Dan was leaving the house early in the day and was returning much later at night in uncommonly good moods. When his mother inquired, he explained about gaming with the friends and so on. I, however, was not buying it. I pulled him aside and got the truth. The boy explained after some trial and error there was a strip mall in town that had both a chicken shack as well as a reputable plus-sized women's clothing store. He would buy a bucket of chicken tenders and eat on the hood of his car, chatting up women as they walked by. He met a girl and they had been seeing each other. I was happy I could help and could not believe it actually worked. However, things went south. A few days after my return to the East Coast, I received a very emotional call from my sister. She explained between curses lobbed at me she had went clothing shopping one day, and when she went to enter the store there was a "Have you seen this man?" flyer on the door. It was a grainy surveillance photo of Dan sitting on the hood of his car with a bucket of chicken and a 2-liter of soda. The flyer warned of a man, youth approaching women as they tried to shop, and though he had been warned off, he still may be a threat. When she confronted the boy, he rolled on me and his father played ignorant. Now Dan is grounded until the threat of restraining orders die down, and I told I am not invited for Christmas. Poor Dan can't go out to see his new girlfriend and blames me for that as well. TLDR. I royally fucked up by telling my 17-year-old nephew to meet big girls by hanging out in front of women's plus-sized stores with food, causing him to be forever grounded and causing possible restraining orders, as well as me no longer invited to my sisters. A comment from user TAW_Byzantine says, "Hey there. Good looking. I got a bucket o' chicken. Wanna do it?" This comment received 6822 upvotes. A comment from user Hunter Store says, "I am not one of your fried chicken tramps. Seduce me." This comment received 2201 upvotes. In response, the original author Mad Moran 1029 replied, "OF******, that was brilliant." This reply received 411 upvotes. A comment from user Deleted User says, "Deleted." This comment received 16,714 upvotes. A comment from user T Swaggy Daddy says, "Sitting on the hood of his car with a bucket of chicken and a 2-liter of soda chatting up plus-sized women. This is one of the best stories I've read on Reddit. Thank you." This comment received 9601 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, "Thank you. Now I just hope it ends well." This reply received 1506 upvotes. A comment from user Imagos Motherfucker says, "Give it another 5 years and this will be a fucking legend in your family LMAO." This comment received 9610 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "Bit of advice from my Marine Corps days. So get married 4 months in and buy a car with a high APR?" This comment received 5982 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "Deleted." This comment received 13,895 upvotes. A comment from user The Big Communism says, "This kid is going places because only a fucking legend would do that type of shit that takes balls of steel and a heart of gold." This comment received 19,953 upvotes. A comment from user Sire 777 says, "Fresno checking in. I wonder if the flyer is still there. I know exactly where it is." This comment received 354 upvotes. A comment from user C Rose Crizzle says, "I don't think you really messed up. You got unlucky. Dan took it a touch too far. Whoever put up that flyer overreacted. Your sister overreacted as well and used you as a scapegoat. You were being a good uncle. You cared about your nephew and tried to help him out. Things turned sour, but I don't think it's your fault." This comment received 4121 upvotes. A comment from user Canalive 5592 says, "Wow, that had a different ending. But good for him getting a GF. Things will cool down soon op and you'll be invited back for Christmas." This comment received 439 upvotes. A comment from user NKRIZ says, "So the table full of people who mocked this poor kid for liking bigger girls is trying to high road you. Sure. Your advice could have been more sensitive. But you're not an asshole for helping the kid talk to people he's attracted to. Maybe people who make fun of shy teenagers and plus-sized women should have helped him instead of making him feel like shit." This comment received 357 upvotes. A comment from user Tingulp says, "I leaned over and offered a bit of advice from Marine Corps days. Said everyone who has ever told a story that has ended bad." This comment received 224 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "Deleted." This comment received 285 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "This is pretty funny." This comment received 900 upvotes. A comment from user Semper Scrotus says, "As she walked away, Elle leaned over and offered a bit of advice from my Marine Corps days. If he liked big, then he needed to go to a place where big is not judged. But don't go empty-handed. I suggested finding a clothing store that accommodates plus sizes and bring along some snacks as an icebreaker. That's one of the most Lance Corporal things ever." This comment received 101 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, "You nailed it. Think Camp Lejeune." This reply received 47 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "I knew this was going to end horribly when I read advice and Marine Corps days. Take your upvote and thanks for the laugh." This comment received 80 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, "No, thank you." This reply received 11 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "Offering snacks to random women is a good pickup? That just sounds kind of weird to me. You give some strange advice." This comment received 429 upvotes. A comment from user Lograyleigh says, "Dude probably had some success right off the bat and given the inexperience, success ratio came on too strong to some. That's part of learning how to be social lol. As long as he learned from it. Seems like he did cuz has GF now. I think you should be proud of him and yourself. Ma needs to take a couple deep breaths and realize dude's just doing what young boys do. This one's just a bit behind." This comment received 202 upvotes. A comment from user Ricta90 says, Wait. Is there more to this story that we don't know? Because I don't think a kid sitting with a bucket of chicken, catcalling some girls is really grounds for restraining order threats. This story is definitely gold. But was he by any chance making predatory catcalls? Lol. This comment received 449 upvotes. A comment from user Aloha_Fox says, I saw this post. Saw it was double gilded. and started reading out loud to my wife without knowing anything else about it other than the title. I got to the words, Marine Corps, and stopped and shared that look with said wife. You see, she knows firsthand that my Marine Corps stories and anecdotes have gotten me into my fair share of trouble with more civilized folk and has forbidden me from sharing many of the more interesting tales from my Westpac days. I feel for you, brother. This comment received 11 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, Semper Fi. Yea, I have been out since 97 and every now and then a bit of learned wisdom will spill out and shock the suburbanites. This reply received 5 upvotes. A comment from user robot_Pikachu says, I wonder what Dan said to get that girl interested. This comment received 21 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, knowing him, he probably gave her the puppy eyes, was shaking like a leaf and started with Miss, would you like a chicken nugget? He probably thanked her after sex for having sex with him. This reply received 39 upvotes. A comment from user BoscoBaby says, tell him to just walk the family dog to the local coffee shop and hang out at a table with dog. People talk to people with dogs. This comment received 3 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, that's actually very mature and one I used to do myself. I tell folks to do that when they move to a new area to make friends. This reply received 6 upvotes. A comment from user Casually Competitive says, my God, this story turned out way better than I expected it to. Side note. Have you considered that maybe he isn't actually into bigger girls, but that those are the only girls that will talk to him at school? This comment received 14 upvotes. A reply from the original author Mad Moran 1029 says, know it for sure, the bigger girls. And I honestly respect, like that about him. He has a type and who care what others think. Thanks for the nice reply. I was nervous posting this about what I would be called. This reply received 51 upvotes.